Hi, I'm Peter Rose, founder of Longwood Currency Trading. Solving the problem of Forex trading, fear of missing out, FOMO. I know it's psychology, you don't want to hear it, but you should listen to the video because that's probably one of the reasons why you're not getting the success that you want to get, or worse, losing far more money than you need to. Fear of missing out is an opinion. I've done videos in the past about save your opinions from movie reviews, okay? And there's a tremendous tendency for us, particularly if you're technically oriented, to try to solve problems. We want to solve problems. That's what our job is in life, is to solve problems. Oh, okay, make sure the car is filled up with gas because that's a problem. We don't want a problem to occur. And here's a problem at work. I got to solve that problem. Here's a currency trading screen with data on it. It's a complex problem and it needs to be solved because I need to make money. And so if I'm not in there trying to solve the problem, I'm fearful that I won't be able to solve the problem. You have to distance yourself from that. God, I'm having such a horrible time for years on that in trying to transition from my real estate, 40 years of real estate investment, into the currency market. All of the risk management, the principles of risk management between real estate trading or currency trading or old tires or cars or general, it's risk management is the same. It can be stated very simply, and it's so simple that nobody pays any attention to it. But regardless of that, this is not a video on risk management. It's a video on the solution to FOMO. And you look at the screen and you want to trade because you want to make money. Now, we have trouble estimating what our skills are. Our skills are based on the consistency of our trading results. If we don't have consistent trading results that we're happy with, then we have no way of basing our skill other than to blame it on something else. Oh, I got in at the wrong time. Somebody stop hunted me. My mother doesn't love me, and the dog bit me. What can I tell you? I've been through all that. You're not going to defeat your emotional constipation about fear of missing out. You're always going to fear missing out. You sit down at that screen, you're going to be afraid of missing the trade that's going to cash your check, right? So if you can't beat that, what do? You have to find something to replace that or to supplement it. The fear of missing out is a subset of greed. And there's times to be greedy and times to be fearful. We all know that. Well, what am I wasting my time talking about if you know that? Well, if you're not having the success in your trading that you're not, I need to point out to you these very evident things, because if you can't separate the very evident things that should be evident from all the clutter of the information that's out there that's distracting you, then you really don't know what problem you need to solve. And one of the greatest problems that you have to solve in currency trading or any kind of trading is fear of missing out. You cannot step up to the table and start laying your bets down. You need to step up and take your time. It's just like taking a test. The teacher in school says, okay, go. And everybody opens a test book and they start taking the test. And I learned how to take a test very early in my college days. You don't start the test when the test begins. You open the test booklet and you read through the whole thing so that you understand how many questions there are, what kinds of questions are being asked, what are the simple questions and what are the more difficult questions. And go and solve the difficult ones first, because you know you can get through the simple ones fairly quickly, or make a best guess judgment on that. And so when you go to the computer screen and you're sitting down and you're looking at the chart and you're going, wow, it really looks like a blah, 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 blah. As soon as you say it really looks like it should, that's an opinion. And that's your fear of missing out trying to kick in. Because you want to get involved, you want to get in the game, you hear the dice being thrown and you want to be up at the bar. I get that. We're protected from ourselves to a certain degree if you're doing real estate investment, because you can't just go up and go, oh, I'll buy that, here's the credit card. So there's a diffusal period there. We don't have the luxury of a diffusal period in trading currencies because the price is moving and it gets to whatever the conditions are that indicate to us that it's a take point, and you got to go. Because if you miss that take point, you might miss 3 pips, 5 pips, 8 pips, and when you're trying to shoot for 10 pips or 20 pips a day as a day trader, you're letting 5 pips of the 20 slip away. I mean, that's 20% of your potential profit. So if you're going to make $500 for the day, you're not going to. You've lost 100 of that already just sitting around. So you're compelled to get in there and make that trade, get that done. And there's nothing that's going to prevent you from feeling that way. So what I found is that as soon as I start feeling that compulsion, I have to kick on another emotion, a different emotion, that then transfers my attention from a fear of missing out to something else. Now, I can't tell you what, I could, but I won't tell you what that is, because what it is for me would be different than what it would be for you. If I tell you what I'm doing and you try to duplicate what I'm doing, you're going to fail. That's why when I teach this stuff to other people, I have to be very careful in when I show them something, that I'm showing them a principle that you need to make the decision based on who you are as a person. All my rules that I have are person agnostic, character agnostic. They're simply rules. They're mathematical rules that are not a subjective view of winning. They're an objective view of it. And it's my problem to get my shit together in order to be able to follow those rules. And so my problem is not having a winning trading strategy that I can teach to somebody very easily. And you say, oh, no, you can't do that. Look, if you go back and read about Richard Dennis and his turtles, he spent 2 weeks with those folks, and probably, 70% of them really never had any trading background or finance background. He spent 2 weeks with them explaining his system. It's about 30 different rules that he lays out. He and Eckhart came in and did the math part of it, and he came in and did the trading part of it. 2 weeks. They gave him each $500,000 and turned him loose in real trading. No fucking demos or anything like that. Some of those folks failed because they didn't want to follow those rules, or they thought they knew better. The ones that stuck around, even the less successful ones, were successful and made enough money to warrant spending the 3 or 4 years that they were there with that turtle program. Because what Dennis was able to accomplish was, here are some principles, here are some rules, and now I'm going to give you another set of rules which are going to combat your fear of missing out, your mixing up the fear and the greed time frames and all that sort of stuff, and all the other crap that we get so mixed up with, right? A principle is different than information. A principle takes some information and puts it into context and orders that information such that it constitutes a condition that a rule can be based on. I don't know if I could ever repeat that, but you have to learn the difference between, oh, the short MA crosses the long MA, the fucking RSI did the blah, 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 and so I'm going to enter. Be very careful about that, because that is not trading. Trading is principle based, and once you understand the principles, the next component of that is to understand who you are as a person, so that you implement those principles the way that you are as a person. Of course, if you're fucked up, or if you don't have any guidance from someone as to how to conduct yourself on the trading battlefield, well, you're going to lose, even though you have all the information. So, and isn't that what a teacher does when they're working with you? I mean, I don't know what kind of learning program you went through, whether you got into college or whatever, but I got my bachelor's degree in physics, almost a minor in math, and I had to do the history and the language and all the other stuff as well, because it's a 4-year degree. So I understand the educational process, and I had some really good educators in physics, because you have to be very dogmatic about, it doesn't matter what you feel, but if you can't produce the mathematics to show that it's possible, then you know that what you're feeling is incorrect. And so you have to understand the math, which in terms of trading are the principles. You have to understand the principles of trading, so that when you step up to the screen and you're looking at that chart and you're going, oh wow, you got to shut that off. Well, that's an incorrect statement, because you can't shut it off. You have to change that to another principle that looks at something different than what you're looking at. The folks that I've been able to work with in the past, who have done some work with me, that seems to be the biggest hurdle that we have to overcome. And it's difficult to convince somebody to do that, because that fear of missing out is such a powerful, powerful force that if your whole background lacks the discipline to sit back and take an objective view of things to resolve that, then you're not going to be successful, no matter how good of an educator it is that's working with you. I mean, I had tremendous teachers in my life, and there were quite a few of the students in the classes that were, I wasn't a genius or anything. I was okay. I was midstream on all that stuff. I got my A's and B's and all that stuff, but I had some C's even in my major. I'm not a brilliant guy, but I was smart enough to get a degree in physics. Smart enough to look around at the other folks that were in the class, and the ones that were failing were simply refusing the way that they were looking at the problems, that the solutions were being provided. They wanted to fight the math. They wanted to, because they were, they didn't have a background of what the Buddhists would say, right thinking, right living, to start with. No number of or amount of rules could give them faith in themselves and the confidence in the process to follow the process. If you're not willing to follow process, you're not going to succeed, regardless of how good the education that you're getting is. And because in the currency market, unfortunately, the retail education is very poor. Because most of the people that are out there who are touting the millions of dollars that they've made have done it on 100 or 200 to 1 leverage. And they're telling you that you can do that at 100 to 1 leverage. And you can, but the problem is, because you don't understand the principles, you're going to take that $10,000 or $20,000 account, and you'll get lucky at 100 or 200 to 1, and you'll be up at 60,000, you'll be up at 80, you'll be up at 200,000, and all of a sudden, it'll all be gone. Because you don't get the principle. All you have is the rules. Rules aren't enough unless they encompass principles. And I have not seen anybody, I've taken courses and I've talked to some of these guys, I haven't seen anybody that really understands the principles. Because if they did, they'd be talking like I do about the principles instead of stupid friggin' Fibonacci and RSI and London Open and engulfing candle patterns and all the rest of the crap that has nothing to do with it. The solution to fear of missing out, to get rid of that FOMO, is impossible. So you need to embrace that and then look behind the curtain to see that there's another way to look at that. I can't tell you how I do it because you won't be able to duplicate what I do. I would only be able to help you in a course or a consulting process in trying to show you how to unravel this stuff based on who you are. This video might be watched by 10 people or 10,000 people. I have no way of knowing how many folks will end up watching this video. But it's critical that you understand that we're all the same. We all have the same fears. It's understanding ourselves, not the thing that we're afraid of, that will allow us not to eliminate the thing that we're afraid of, but simply to embrace something else. I guess that's the key to the thing. Sorry that didn't help you, but think about it. Because if you think about it, maybe you'll come to that solution on your own. And that's all I can hope for as an educator. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.